if you'll notice... Oh.
And also nodding coats.
Oh. It's happening.
It's happening.
All right. So, got a doozy here.
Yeah.
Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist, Season 2, Episode 13, the season finale. Zoey's Extraordinary Goodbye.
As we know from the last episode, Max is getting ready to leave, to go to New York to do a franchise of Maximo.
Be with his new girlfriend. So, the show opens on Zoey in bed with Simon. Musical number starts. Simon sing a song, which it sort of sounded familiar, but not really. So I don't even remember how it goes right now. So
neither do I, but it's.
But David and Emily are singing too, and Megs and everyone as Zoey walks sadly through her day.
It's all very hopeful.
Yes, everyone's so happy except her. Max is singing to Rose as Zoey looks on. Everyone appears to be singing to her.
Yeah, like everybody is staring at Zoey as she's walking all sad and going through her day. And it keeps cutting progressively through the day from the morning to her being at work to whatever. So it's like the whole day.
And then she gets back into bed.
It's the exact same like shot and everything, almost reversed with her falling back into bed in the same position, Simon singing to her again.
So cut to Zoey at Moe's. She feels like she's just flowing through life, like everything's a blur. Most of her therapy sessions are about Max, not her powers. So she's asking if she and Max made a mistake putting things on pause, who is leaving the next day. And she admits, because Mo is like, well, what about Simon? She admits that things really aren't working with Simon. Meanwhile, Mo is ignoring Perry. Also, he's planning a big goodbye party for Max. Everyone will be there. Max wanted a big party. Mo says, this doesn't sound like someone coming back in a few months.
Yeah, he's like, everyone from Spark Point, everyone, like, even Zoe's family is invited to this goodbye party.
Yeah, Michael Davis.
Yeah.
So we cut to Max packing. He had packed his and Zoe's model that they talked about in the previous episode. Rose noticed, looked concerned. And back at Spark Point, DMD is tired, and the drone phone is drawing a lawsuit, someone suing for a similar device.
Yeah, it's this small upstart company called Sky Talker, I think they said.
Yeah.
That has a similar device that they had already had in development, and so they're bringing litigation against Spark Point.
You wrote Simon playing footsie with Zoey. I think that was actually Tobin and Tabitha playing footsie. Yeah.
I only saw it at a glance.
Yeah, so, I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Because when you look at like Zoey and Simon, they're kind of having, there's like a tense moment. So, yeah. So then Tobin and Tabitha make an announcement after the meeting is over. They are HR legal official.
Good teeny, by the way.
Thank you. Which leads to a conversation between Simon and Zoey. And Simon says they should break up. Zoey, here I was thinking this would be hard as title card. So they go for a walk and talk things out. Simon feels like Zoey knows all about him and won't let him in.
Are we sensing a theme?
Yeah. So it basically ends with, Simon says, maybe we confused bonding for shared grief. And Zoe's like, yeah. She's like, we did have a connection. And, again, maturity. They ended it in a very mature adult way. Like, yes, we started dating. Nobody cheated. It just, we tried it. But you can't jump into a relationship when you have shared grief with someone. It's not going to work out. And that doesn't mean that the other person is bad or whatever. Or, you know, like, oh, well, you didn't, you know, give it your all in this relationship. You know, there are things going on with Zoey that she just can't talk to Simon about, especially because when she had her relationship with Max and he knew about it, it didn't work out. So she couldn't risk telling Simon about it.
Right. But he still sensed it. It was the same cause for the end of the relationship in a way. It was still that I feel like you know everything about me and I just can't get in. But they also made it a point to say, you know, we did confuse feelings for our shared grief.
I mean, there was a connection. There was chemistry for sure.
Right, but Simon's point was, it did give comfort. That's why I don't regret it.
Yes,
and she said the same thing.
Yeah,
which makes it sound like they were using each other, but it's not really like that.
No, yeah, but and I know what you mean. It's like I found so much comfort with you in this shared emotion that we were both going through. And we helped each other out through this hard time. You just can't base a relationship off of that.
No.
You know?
It can lead to things, but there has to be something deeper.
Yeah.
And they found that there wasn't, and they couldn't have known that.
Yeah, and they were okay with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Maturity. So back at the house, David is picking out clothes for the party, and Maggie is texting with an old flame from high school, Eric Shepard. David is not taking this well. Maximo is booked for the party. Zoey tells Maggie about the breakup. Perry shows up trying to talk to Mo. Mo's ignoring him. He's staying until he talks to him. Zoey and Simon agree to not tell anyone about the breakup. Then Max and Rose show up, and she blurts it out. Simon goes to get a drink, and Rose is cold as ice and willing to sacrifice her love. Yeah, there was definitely, like, a really cold look there, and it's like, I get it, but that really wasn't fair to Zoey to give her that look, like, because she does. Rose may suspect how Max is feeling, but Zoey doesn't know that. Yeah, but you go to a goodbye party. Your significant other is leaving and having a goodbye party. He walks in the building. The two of you walk in the building, and his ex-girlfriend walks up to him and says, "My boyfriend and I just broke up."
Yeah, but the way she said it was so, like, word vomit that it wasn't like, oh, hey, we just broke up. It was, Simon and I broke up. Like, sorry, blurted it out. Like, I
don't know, man. I'm not saying I'm on Rose's side, but just trying to see it from how it would seem to her.
Sure. I guess if I were Rose, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I wouldn't immediately think, oh, you're trying to step in on my territory.
Okay.
And that's just me. But it's not like Rose then was all of a sudden, like, acting all possessive. She just gave a cold stare.
Yeah.
So, Zoey and Mo drink tequila. DMD shows up for the first time at Maximo. He's under pressure by the media.
Something about him taking walks. I don't know if that was bad. It was.
Yeah, that was that part of the episode I didn't catch at all. But Zoey stands up and yells at everyone to stop being a bummer because it's Max's party. And then people do a musical number, Shake It Off. It's DMD, Mo, Maggie, and everyone. And cut back to Zoey. Have a great time. Greatest going away party ever. Woo! Awkward. Mo drags Zoey into another room. He can't make Perry leave. He hired DMD to scare Perry off by playing with fire, and it didn't work. Like this.
What about this? Is this filing anything?
I'm just gonna take that. Perry's trying to apologize, and Mo is not having it. A musical number breaks up between Perry and Mo. We can work it out. Perry's voice is still warm honey.
You're
straight as they come, but I mean, you melt a little bit when you hear Perry singing.
I mean, I'm just like, damn, I wish I could sing like that. Which I can't, because I'm white as snow.
Also, you're not a bass.
I guess there are, like, blacks have bass better than whites, but there are some white basses. You are correct.
Mike Rowe.
Okay.
He was in Barbershop.
Really?
And yeah, he can sing, and he was in the Baltimore Opera.
Wow.
In fact, I think there's video of Kelly Clarkson reacting to Mike Rowe singing opera, which we might have to try to find now that I've put that out there.
Possibly, yes.
But yeah, he's Bears, which
Wow.
should surprise no one.
No, that's true.
Anyway, Zoe tells Mo that she and Perry both want to work it out.
Yeah, because Zoe obviously witnesses all this, but it wasn't an actual interaction that Mo and Perry had. Like,
right.
She's upstairs, he's downstairs. But when the musical number started, she went to the balcony and they were singing to each other. But in reality, they didn't interact at all. So.
Right. So Leaf talks to Simon. He comes up and says, I feel guilty about the upstart that's suing Spark Point because it's run by young people of color, and DMD wants to squash it, and Leaf isn't comfortable with that. And I thought that was a really good exchange, because you had Leaf, who previously, when they were doing the whole race thing, like, he was very social justice warrior about it.
Mm-hmm.
But in this scene, he was like, look, and it was a genuine, like, I feel guilty because we're trying to squash this young black startup. So he goes to Simon.
Yeah, and
he
he's
doesn't
like,
make a big speech about it. He, like, privately goes to Simon.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like, that's how you do it. You don't get on your megaphone, but if you see something that you're not comfortable with, then you go to someone.
Sure. You're not virtue signaling.
Right. Exactly.
And and he even says, this doesn't really jive with the direction that Sparkpoint's trying to go.
Right.
Sparkpoint made a show, virtue signaled, to try to be more diverse and inclusive. Danny Michael Davis is he's an ignorant guy.
Yeah. And he probably didn't even know that the startup was.
No, he relished in the idea of squashing this upstart because he's annoyed that he's being sued.
Yeah, and he's a big corporation, so yeah. But
So
we'll get
Leaf
there.
takes us to Simon, yeah.
And Simon's like, okay, send me the link, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really respected how it was part of the episode, but it was low-key enough that it wasn't like, it wasn't in your face. A moment. So we cut to Mo and Perry. He tells Perry to get some food because dinner is served. There's no song there. Dinner is served.
Dinner is
Aw. They should have done Be Our Guest. Anyway. Mo gives a speech, thanks Max for the partnership.
Have they done that song before?
I don't think so. Did they? No.
Did they do that at opening night for Maximo?
No, they did. Let's get loud.
Okay. Man, I'm having a memory. Okay.
Alright. So Mo gives a speech and thanks Max for the partnership and friendship. Aww. Mag's speech as your self-appointed West Coast mom. I'll miss you. Simon, the same thing, good luck. And Zoe, gets up to give her speech, talks about the first day at Spark Point. She's like, even though I got the job over you, thank goodness you got hired. And Tobin and Leaf share this look like, what? And they try to correct her, but Max silences them. And Zoey catches that. She looks at DMD, and DMD tells Zoey that he chose Max, and Max turned it down.
And he was like, I'm really sorry to have to be the one to tell you this, but yeah, I chose Max, and he turned me down, blah, blah, blah.
Which, again, Danny Michael Davis is such a weird character. Like, there's layers to him that I'm looking forward to seeing peeled back.
There's a very small part of this episode that makes me think, okay, they're gonna be including him a lot more. Like, he's come a long way in season 2. The fact that they had him running interference on Perry, that was the scene where I'm like, you got Danny Michael Davis for that? So I'm like, no, he's gonna become way more involved in the story. They found a fun character that they're excited to play with.
Yeah, he was, and it kind of feels like one of those, he's only supposed to be in a couple episodes, but he
dominated the screen, and we're like, okay, yeah, you're in this. You're here now.
Yeah. So DMD stands up to make a speech. He said, I like it here, and I'm happy I own it. Lol. And DMD is actually being really sensitive towards Zoey, because he's like, I'm going to go get, some egg rolls and maybe a burrito and something else. Like, can I get you anything?
Yeah.
Like I
don't know, little random lines like that. It's like, okay, he's going to be a thing.
And again, we'll get there. So cut to Zoey and Max arguing about that first day on the job. Zoey thought she had earned it. She thought she was looking at it from like, it was a pity thing. Like, I built my entire life on this and I didn't even earn it. But Max said that she did deserve it more, and he wasn't going to take that opportunity away from her. Because he recognized she had the passion. She was brilliant at coding. She was, top notch. And honestly, at the end of the day, the only reason why DMD wasn't going to give her the job was because she wasn't there.
Right.
She wasn't there because of a family emergency. And honestly, I don't think DMD would have taken Max's offer to, give the job to her and not me. Because again, in that last episode, when he said, she isn't here because of a family emergency. And there was that beat where he was like, it was so subtle, but it was an moment.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it proved that even in the context of a family emergency, she still did the job. And ultimately, no matter what Danny Michael Davis tells her, no matter what Max tells her, at the end of the day, she did earn that job just for the pure fact that she was still able to do the job while dealing with a medical emergency, a family emergency.
Sure. And there's a couple of layers to it. I mean, the fact that she wasn't there, he didn't know it was for a family emergency, so I get it. He
didn't know where she was.
Right. And they say the best ability is availability, right? So, I mean, regardless of how well she did, she's going to be a flake.
Right.
Which is fair, but he didn't realize.
And that's why when Max said she's not here because her mom is in the hospital, it was that beat, that look, and it was so subtle. And this is why this guy, I don't even know who's this guy. I feel like I've seen him before. The guy who plays Danny Michael Davis. But that's just such good acting because it portrayed so much in just like a 1 second shot of a look.
And also, as you mentioned, he's a corporate guy. I think he was hard set on, okay, 2 people are getting this job. And he saw a lot of potential in 3 of them. And he was put in a really hard place because being a corporate guy, he didn't want to break his own rule and hire 3 people.
Right.
That's why he was so quick to hire Max back, firing his own cousin in the process.
Because nepotism. So anyway, Zoe wants to be angry and can't be. And she says, I wish you hadn't kept that from me, which is fair.
It is fair from her perspective.
But
how are you going to have that conversation?
Exactly. Like, at what point?
Is it appropriate to be like, by the way, I earned this job over you?
Yeah. And, it was a heat of the moment thing.
It was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart made.
But yeah, I mean, I get where Zoe's coming from, but at the same time, I also get where Max is coming from. Like, okay, like seriously, when was I gonna ever tell you this? Like, how could I ever tell you this?
That would be some JD from Scrubs shit to say something like that,
right? And that would have made you kind of hate him a little bit.
Yeah.
So I actually really give a lot of respect to Max for just saying, okay, I'm sorry I never told you.
Yeah.
And he didn't push the fact that, like, oh, okay, when was I supposed to tell you? So he goes to leave, and she says, Max, wait, I'm going to miss you very much. Max comes back with, I should get back to the party. So.
It was really well choreographed. He goes through the double doors, and they slam behind him, but it's got, like, the kitchen door window.
Yeah.
And you can see her face through the door. This whole episode, actually, the cinematography was beautiful.
It really was.
Again, that opening scene with her coming out of bed and going back into bed, it was all shot amazingly.
Yeah. So, cut to Spark Point. Zoe is running a meeting. So what meeting is this again? She's totally lost. And I knew it was a dream sequence just from the very get-go because everyone is, like, wearing suits and they're just kind of giving her that, like they all have very dark eyes. Not, like, digital dark eyes, like, creepy, but, like, kind of dead. They're just, like...
The kind of scene where when everybody's... It's like the in class in your underwear kind of thing. Like, everybody's staring at you.
I have expected to have the camera pan over to her in her underwear. I'm not gonna lie. But they're all in suits and she's got like a bright sweater on and they're just... And then she dismisses the meeting like, I just need to regroup. And they all close their computers in sync and walk out.
I had a moment where I thought she was waking up from a dream state. Like, has the last several months been a dream or something? And, all this was in her head or something. Because, okay, I'm going to disclose a thing. I told you that some Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist things were popping up on Yahoo. The one I passed said reactions to that twist in Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist finale. And I was like, shit.
Because you thought it was going to be, she's in a coma.
Or something. Like, I didn't have any thoughts. I was just pissed because the whole episode, I was like, there's a twist. Of
course there's going to be a twist.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I hate that shit. It's a spoiler without being a spoiler.
I get that. But I guess, like, if I were to come across something like that, I'd be like, well, of course there is. Like, have you seen this show? Yeah, of course. There's a twist.
Sure.
That's just me, though.
But knowing the fact that there is one makes you spend the entire episode looking for it.
Fair. So, then Mitch shows up. Looks like he could use some help, is what he says. So they start talking. And they're walking around Spark Point. It's completely empty, so obviously it's a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, Mitch is there. The past couple months have been off he knows about the power, obviously, because even before he died, like in these fugue states, she told him about it.
Yeah.
Max is there. Why is Max here? Mitch says, why are you asking me? This is your dream. Zoey says, the universe keeps testing me. Mitch says, everything the universe does, it does for a reason. And he talks about being part of this universe now. And he's like, you keep screaming up there.
At the heavens.
But basically, like, you need to focus down here. But there was something almost Judeo-Christian about that exchange. Like, that, you know, they've never really gotten into religion or God, aside from Mo being...
Right.
you know, belonging to a gospel church, you know, singing the choir and everything. So I like that they're not shying away from, you know, there is something else, and you have to have faith. And Mitch even had said something in that scene like, the universe knows what it's doing.
And I'm a part of that now. It's called the Communion of Saints.
Yeah, and you just have to have faith. So I like it. It's very subtle. It's not in your face one way or the other. And I like it. I mean, at least insofar as the secular world that we're living in right now.
It's not the best we can expect, but it's, you know, what can we expect? You know,
I mean, really, it is the best we can expect anymore.
Probably, yeah. You know, it's fine. It is good. I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah. So then, in this dream, Max grabs a bag and leaves. It's half airport, very dreamlike. So he tells Mitch she screwed things up with Max. All she had to say was, don't go. Mitch tells her it's scary, but she needs to take risks. The only thing I can tell you are the things I wish for you, my daughter. And I kind of recognize the song, but I don't even know the name of it. But it's a musical number.
Sound like it might have been called Hope.
Or like, you know, I hope for you. And it was beautiful orchestra, beautiful dance scene. And Zoey wakes up. She knocks on Mo's door. Perry is there. He didn't write this down. I don't blame you because there was a lot going on. But Mo has this great line. Perry's like, what? She's like, and he's like, Mo's like, no, you got your kids? I got Zoey. Like, that's she's my kid, basically.
Yeah. That was amusing.
Zoey tells Mo about the dream and says she needs to learn how to live and take risks, and I need to tell Max how I feel. Mo's like, oh, I've been telling you that
for years.
Not years, I mean, I've been telling you that for months. But I'm so glad you figured that out in your dream state.
In one dream session with your dad.
Mm-hmm. So Mo is excited to drive Zoey to stop them at the airport. He's like, oh no, I've been invested in this from day one. I'm going to be there to see it.
I'm going to be there for the best part.
So then back at the house, I think it's pretty much, like, if we're talking about back at the house, it's Max's house.
Yeah, that's how I've decided to establish my notes.
Yeah. Emily shows up with the baby and sees Maggie. Meg said she should be banned from social media. Turns out Eric's married. Emily says, this is a good thing. It proves you can still feel this way. You know, it shows that she's really grown as a character, but then she also is like, because Meg kind of pointed that out, like, where does all this come from? She's like, it's those happy pills that they prescribed me. I have this thing like hope. No, I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Emily is all of us.
Yeah.
At Spark Point, Simon goes to meet with DMD. I'm like, okay, you know,
Here it is.
he's going to quit, whatever. But Simon says that he wants Spark Point to take Sky Talker under their wing, like a subsidiary.
Kind of an initiative to bring up small companies,
Especially,
diverse ones or low opportunity ones, whatever language he used.
and I was sitting here like,
Oh.
that's brilliant, and I didn't see that coming, and I'm like, and DMD is going to screw this up, but you said what day we buy their company and put you at the head of it?
Why don't we?
Oh, so
Autocorrect is killing me right now.
Yeah. So DMZ says, why don't we buy their company and put you at the head of it? He's like, well, but what about your current position? And Simon's like, I feel really passionately about this. And it was just a really great moment between Simon and Danny. Like, Danny, it was just the two of them.
Uh-huh.
I think Danny actually really liked the idea. You could tell he liked the idea from a lot of different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saves him from, you know, corporate lawsuits, shows Spark Point's initiatives for diversity and building up young entrepreneurs. And you know, seeing in Simon that this is something that he can absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Simon is pumped, and they go to shake hands, but Simon's like, no, let's hug it out. And Danny's like,
Can we?
can we? Like, he's so excited about it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Danny may be super rich and everything, but he's a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
He puts on this persona of, oh yeah, I'm a super cool, rich guy, but I want friends. I want a black friend. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, we saw that even back in the episode when he was hanging out with Zoey.
Yeah,
Like,
with the stoner.
he's a loner, but like not entirely intentionally.
Right.
He's an introvert, insofar as he's used to being alone, but he does want friends.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to get them.
So I really, really, really liked that scene. And I think, again, that shows a lot of growth on Danny's part. Like, not just, oh, how am I going to save my own ass and my own company's ass, but no, this is very beneficial. This is a good business move. And yeah, it gives opportunities to the young,
Yeah, and he was
diverse entrepreneurs.
and he was excited for Simon too.
Yeah.
It was like, let's give you a promotion too. Like, this is great.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, wait, did you run it by Zoey yet? And Simon's like, why? Because she's your boss.
Yeah, it's fine.
No, but she'll be totally fine with it. And I mean,
She obviously would be.
yeah. Again, shows how Danny has grown as a character. Meanwhile, Zoey and Mo are driving to the airport. Zoey gets out to run to Max, and Rose are out there.
Yeah.
She goes to run to them. Mo, go best friend!
Go best friend!
And I loved that, because I think that's really the first time that he's embraced Zoey as an actual best friend. Because even at the start of this season, he was like, still very aloof, like, oh, I'm only interested in you as long as you're interesting. Like, he had said
Right.
something like that in the very first episode.
Right. Been very aloof.
But, like, in that moment, it was like, oh,
Yes.
yay. So, Zoe goes out, and she's walking with purpose, and then she hears Max singing.
She was so ready for her 80s movie moment.
And she hears Max singing "When a Man Loves a Woman," and in that song, like there was a part like something about I would stab my own best friend in the back, and it was okay. I can't do this, and I really respect the show for doing it this way because I was not prepared. I mean, I kind of knew it could have been coming, but I wasn't prepared for that awkward, like, right in front of Rose sort of thing.
But that song choice really stuck out to me. And I started going, yeah, there's some weird lyrics in here. But going back to first season, it was kind of almost a nice callback. The fact that Zoe doesn't know these songs that she's hearing. She doesn't know the lyrics. She doesn't know the meaning behind them. I'll jump ahead. She's a little despondent. She goes back to the car. Like, I just heard Max sing a heart song to Rose. He really loves her.
Yeah.
And they drive off. But it's like...
I had the same thought you did.
Okay, good.
I saw that scene. I was like, I don't think it's going to end the way she thinks it's going to end.
Right. And I grabbed a snippet of the lyrics.
She can bring him such misery if she is playing him for a fool. He's the last one to know. Loving eyes can never see. Yes, when a man loves a woman, I know exactly how he feels.
It's not really a heart song entirely. You know, it's... When a man loves a woman, he gets blinders put on him, and it can ruin him. It can be the wrong decision. Like, there's a lot of depth to that song choice, and it's totally in character, and with the show that she didn't get that. She was like, no, he's singing to her. And you can even see Max acting it out a bit, too. He's looking at her, at Rose, in a way that could be misinterpreted by Zoe, but there's a lot of remorse there. So it was mwah.
Yeah, I agree, because yeah. But anyway, she gets back in the car, tells Mo, Max really loves her. It's over. So we cut to Spark Point. Tabitha comes into Zoe's office and asks Zoe why she and Simon broke up. She asks, are Tobin and I doomed because, did you break up because you worked together? But then Zoe starts hearing music and excuses herself and sees Simon doing a musical number, I'm Still Standing.
Which, did they do that?
I'm still standing.
I know they've done that song before. Was that at the beginning of this season? Was it like a bookend thing?
I don't remember.
I know they did that song before.
Oh, okay.
I think it was this season. I just couldn't remember if it was like the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. But then she goes back and tells Tabitha that it wasn't working together. They just weren't meant to be. And she gives a really nice speech to Tabitha, like, about faith and, everything will work itself out. Like, go in with an open mind, meaning it could work out, it could not.
Yeah.
But
let yourself have feelings. It's cool.
And things will just work themselves out.
Approach a relationship as a relationship, not as the circumstances surrounding it.
Right. So back at the house, Megs has an announcement. She is starting to think about putting herself back out there again. Emily is happy about it. Zoe and David look apprehensive, but ultimately they both say they just want Maggie to be happy. David says he might need a second to wrap his head around it, though. And Meg said, I totally understand. Dad wanted us all to keep living. So then we have this montage, Mo and Perry having dinner. Mo drinks while Perry chases kids around. Tabitha and Tobin making out.
In an egg chair of all places.
Yeah, that's not going to work, but okay. Simon is meeting with Sky Talker.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds very much like Skywalker. David and Emily putting down the bibi. And then we cut to Zoey sitting on a park bench. And then Max appears. He didn't go to New York. He broke it off with Rose, who could tell he was distracted. He says, I don't know what's going on in your head, but I won't be scared even if it causes a power imbalance. And Zoey says, I won't be scared anymore. And then a musical number starts. And it's Zoey singing, with Max looking real confused. Zoey is singing, I'll Stop the World. You have this in all caps, by the way. Max has the power now. He looks shocked. OMG. So she, finishes the song, not knowing that she had finished the song. Sorry, I have a sneeze.
The whole thing is choreographed just like any other musical number, except
it's Max looking, like doing the Zoey thing, like just kind of looking around and
reacting, kind of
like, this is kind of cool, but. And then she's like, because she mentioned, leading up to that, she mentioned her dad, like, we've got someone looking out for us.
Mm-hmm.
Max, but then she's like, I can't even remember exactly what she said then after the musical number. It was, I think, we can make this work, or something to that effect. And Max is like, I think you just sang a heart song to me. And they look at each other, and they both say, what the credits sequence?
And that's how the season ends.
And I don't hate it.
No.
And I'm a little sad that our theory that this is all because she's in a coma, it clearly is not going in that direction. But I love the fact that they're going from a perspective of God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, in this secular kind of world. They're building on faith, like the faith that things will work out, and at the end of the day, this is going to work because it needs to, and this is how we're going to make it work. Because Max's whole thing, like, he has always loved Zoey, and the one thing that drove them apart was this idea that she could always read him and he couldn't do the same.
We're not in West Allis anymore, right? I don't know if it picked up on video, but that sounded a lot like 5 gunshots in a quick sequence.
No, I thought it was somebody knocking on a door.
It sounded like that, but nothing could sound like that from here.
Anyway. It happened as soon as Zoey proclaimed that she wasn't going to be scared anymore. She was going to let other people in.
And there was even like a sound effect or something happened. There was kind of a... Like, it zoomed on Max's face, and he kind of did this. Right before the musical number started, there was a downloading the powers effect happening.
So, now here's an interesting question then about next season. Is it going to be just Max? Or is it going to be, like, everyone that Zoey has some kind of a deep connection with? Or is, like, Mo going to see her start singing? Is Simon, is Meg, like, these people that are close in her life, now that she's becoming open, is the universe going to now open her up to other people?
Oh, okay.
Like, are we gonna see Mo, like,
not have the power with other people, just with Zoey?
maybe?
Okay, so we have... The way I see it, we have 3 options here. It could be that Max just has the power now, too. Straight up. And we'll have it with other people. It could be that Zoe's power has now become internal, and so other people see her emotions. The third thing I was wondering is it possible that the power transferred from Zoey to Max and is no longer with Zoey?
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. There's actually a lot they could do with this.
Yeah. Oh, so I really like that it's ambiguous.
Uh-huh.
So I guess we'll see.
I mean, my prediction is that Max just has the power now, too. But...
I think my... what was that word you just used?
Prediction?
Prediction, thank you. It just completely left my brain. I think my prediction is that with Zoey proclaiming she's not going to be scared anymore, she's going to be more open, I think it's going to be other people. Like, because I think they could do a lot with that.
Sure.
Like, can you imagine Mo's reaction to, like, just happened?
Right. Yeah, right. Oh, man, that would be great. I'm just excited for that actress being able to, like, stretch her song and dance
Which she
chops.
clearly has.
Which she clearly has. You go into this show thinking, okay, it's going to be her, like, singing and dancing a lot. Nah, pretty much never.
and I really love this show.
Yeah. Really good season.
Yes. It didn't end on quite the emotional hit that the last one did.
Well, no.
And that's fine. Like, I got a little bit close when she had her moment with her dad, but nowhere near what the last season was, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I like that they're keeping Mitch involved here
Yeah.
and there. I'm wondering if they're going to keep doing that going forward, or, you know.
Well, I think they kind of have to. I mean,
Mitch adds a lot to Zoe's character.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, that's all I got, really.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do for Tuesdays now, but...
Oh, I have an idea.
Already looking forward to next season.
Same.
All right.
We'll discuss my idea.
Yes.